perfect and broken. We're actually talking about divine order. Divine order is this beautiful expression. Our order is the first law of the universe. The first law of the universe. Indeed, there could be no universe unless its various parts were kept in perfect harmony. And I ponder and contemplate and think about all the time this divine order, and my faith is placed in that expression of what divine order is, that idea of divine order. Because Charles Fillmore, he says it. The law, it is the first law of the universe. And I like to think about that divine order as this beautiful body temple right here is a perfect example of divine order. Somehow 380 trillion cells communicate with one another so that you can see this.
Oh, wow.
Like how much power and presence needs to be in this experience and expression so that I am here now. And just in that cellular level experience of 380 trillion cells communicating and keeping it together.
Yeah.
Right? It's keeping it together. My consciousness has to keep it together. And sometimes we walk this path and it feels so broken. We stumble and we fall and we think that that's failure. But it's not failure, it's keeping it together. So the fact that evolution has created this physical form in all of its perfection so that we could have consciousness, that we could be aware and have this beautiful presence. It's a miracle that any one of us is here. And the reason that is possible is because of divine order. Divine order. Now, I love genealogy. My mom has been doing genealogy for a very long time, and I have the privilege of knowing where I come from, and the power and presence that has miraculously chosen each and every one of us to be here now. That it's divine order. Because I looked through my family tree. I've been doing, this past weekend I was like exploring my family tree, going back. And 11 grandfathers ago was born on Canadian soil, this land. So it was just land, right, before it was Canada. So 11 generations ago, my ancestor was born on this land, just outside of Quebec City. They had one child. And they came on a boat with 5 other families. You might recognize the family names. Guillaume, who is an ancestor of Celine Dion, and then the Belanger, who I'm an ancestor of, or who is my ancestor. So Celine and I are cousins. so that's cool. She definitely got the paycheck. And they had one child, and then that child had 13 kids. 13 kids. But it was 1634. So that mother, this beautiful, her name was Burgess, was her last name when she married into the family. And that mother had to witness the passing of 6 of her children. It's a miracle that we made it here to this point in time, because the trials and tribulations that have happened over a historical imprint that we cannot even fathom. But creation sometimes looks like chaos. So I'm holding, this is the Holy Bible. Sorry, Deb. My mother gave me this. She got this Bible when she was quite young, and I have been carrying it around. She gave it to me when I was 14 years old, and I had been saved. I went to Bible camp, and I got saved. And so I came home thinking I had to save everyone. And so she gave me this beautiful book, and my life was transformed in such a way. But why this book is relevant today, from what I've just said, is Ecclesiastes can't say the chapters. This beautiful book
You
has
got
some
it right.
words. Ecclesiastes?
Yeah.
Perfect. Good enough. Yes, thank you. Right? A generation goes and a generation comes. This is thousands of years old. Generation goes and a generation comes. And we get to be a part of this in our awareness that we are chosen to be here now in some divine, fantastical way. We are the ones that ourselves are here now, stardust and water. It's amazing. It's amazing. What else did I do? Oh yes, God is not a superhuman personality that imposes order. Rather, God is order. The organizing principle revealed in the pattern and sequence inherent in all of life. Divine order is not a correction of some unhappy condition, but an integrated arrangement of energy in a pattern, sequence, or method. Sometimes creation looks like chaos. Sometimes that method that Spirit is using us for and as and with to support its divine idea looks messy. And for some reason, we tend to tell ourselves such horrible stories that we aren't worth it. We aren't valuable. We don't know what we're doing. We are thousands and millions of cells holding it together. We know exactly what we're doing. And that's that place within us that is the driving force, the energy, the exquisiteness of Spirit that is infinite intelligence, an intelligence that is greater than my mind. I can go to sleep at night and trust that my body's not going to float away and fall apart into little pieces. I'm going to wake up in the morning, all my cells, all my organs, all my muscles, all my tissues know exactly what to be again today. What a gift it is to simply wake up. Let's repeat that. What a gift it is to simply wake up. And what you do with the rest of your day is divine. The rest of your activity in this day is Spirit unfolding in its highest and greatest glory. You know what it took for Spirit to show up as you? Like, think about it. Think millions of years ago, this rock flowing in the cosmic universe of absent void. And millions of years and millions of lessons and millions of thoughts and millions of experiences have unfolded in absolute perfect harmony so that we can be here now. If gravity was a little stronger or a little weaker, we would not be here. The power in that. The power in that. So the superpower that we all have is faith and awareness. And recognizing that the turns of every season is the power that we get to explore and expand. And we get to feel. I think God's greatest gift to us is that we get to feel. Because in that feeling, we find the joy. In that feeling, we find the pain. And we cannot have one without the other. So I'll finally read the book I'm holding. It's getting heavy. For everything is a season and a time for every matter under heaven. A time to be born and a time to die. A time to plant and a time to pluck up that which has been planted. A time to kill and a time to heal. A time to break down and a time to build up. A time to weep and a time to laugh. A time to mourn and a time to dance. A time to cast away stones and a time to gather stones together. A time to embrace and a time to be refraining from embrace. A time to seek and a time to lose. A time to keep and a time to cast away. A time to rend and a time to sow. A time to keep silent and a time to speak. A time to love and a time to hate. A time for war and a time for peace. What gain has the worker from his toil? This is the work. This life is the work this beautiful, delicate, fragile, sensitive life. And in that faith and in that awareness, that feeling, that powerful feeling that we have of faith and awareness within us, thank you. That's our superpower. This is our superpower. How do you know? Where does that faith come from? Where do we gain that power from? It's faith in that great mystery that is unfolded before us. There is mountains of evidence that has proven to each and every one of us in our life. I talk about all the time this how important to be aware of the sticky and the sweet in our life, the sticky and the sweet. And then so when I say it's a gift to wake up, I didn't think I was going to make it to 30. I lived for 2 decades with chronic depression and anxiety. But there was something inside of me that knew there was something greater than this mind that I was working with. That mind that was always telling those negative affirmations. I'm not worthy, I'm not lovable. How could anyone ever love me? And then finally, there's that moment when you just realize that it's only God's love. All of this that is working and accumulating in our life is God's love. So waking up to that powerful place within us, that expression and experience. And moment by moment, so how do we know what path to take? That's why we tap into that beautiful expression of feeling. Each of us, Charles Fillmore, one of our favorite guys, each of us by nature is capable of tuning into the intelligent order. It is the framework, structure, pattern, and sequence at the heart of all that can ever be. We are capable of organizing our thoughts, our words, and actions in conversation with divine order. Charles Fillmore said, even in the small details of life, such as dress, conversation, eating, sleeping, and working, system and order enable one to live a richer and fuller life. Each of us has that capacity to tap in, tune in, and align with the highest expression of this infinite intelligence that has placed every part and particle in perfection in exactly where it needs to be. And so opening ourselves up, opening our mind to expand and explore, to stay curious in this fullness of spirit. We have that power to change our thinking through these tools that we have been given. Tools given by Charles Fillmore and Ernest Holmes and Mary Magdalene. We have these beautiful spiritual tools that allow us to tap into that expression, the fullest intelligence that is already in divine order. We get to step out of our own way and listen. Listen to that love. Listen to that joy. Listen to that power that says you are greater than the situation or experience that you are in. Listen to that infinite intelligence that has woven itself in and through it as absolutely everything. I mean, I have some really good deep thoughts, but they pale in comparison to a mind that is greater than my mind. And so when I get stuck or when I get bored, I will find ways to create, a little bit of drama in my life. I get bored fast, and boredom for me, had several conversations this week about boredom. For me, is like gasoline, and I go looking for a match. Right? Because I don't know where we heard it, but there's like, don't bore God. Right? Keep it interesting, keep it active, keep it in this beautiful place of knowing. And so become that stellar expression of spirit. Be audacious in who you are. You are so unique, unrepeatable. It took billions of years for you to get here. It took billions of years for God to perfect the parts of your being that were right and perfect for this time, this space, this life. So audacity, to be audaciously aware of that higher power that is operating in all things, operating in who you are, operating in the fullest expression. And this life is meant to be open, This life is meant to be living. So a richer and fuller life. A richer and fuller life. Oh yes, this was to signal a story. So this beautiful, beautiful story I love to share is, it's from an ancient time, far, far away from here. And there's this ancient queen, and very beloved. And so she had all of these servants and all of these supporters who waited and served her every whim. But there was this one servant who was her favorite, and his name was Long Way. And his job every day was to walk miles with to a well to gather water, bring it back to the castle or whatever they lived in, empire, and every day he did this with. So this one day he's coming, he gets his buckets, and he has two buckets, one for this side and one for this side, and a long pole, and then he has so that he can support it while he walks. And one basket was new and shiny and bright, and it was like this, wow, he could carry a lot of water in that. And the other the bucket was old and tattered and worn out a little bit. So every day, twice a day, he would walk to the miles to this well. And on the way back, every day, water would leak. Water would leak. And the bucket turned to Long Way and said, "Why do you still use me? If you would do so much better if you just got rid of me. And I know I leak. I can only bring half of what this brand new shiny bucket can bring, and just put me out to pasture." And Long Way looked at the bucket. I want to combine those two words. The buscat. And said, "Do you not know your value? Look at this path. I saw that you leaked. And so every day I planted seeds along the path. And every day you water these beautiful plants. And I take these flowers and I adorn the queen with their beauty, all the tables in every room. You have provided this essential service to the empire." And imagine knowing that even though you're broken, you're perfect. Even though you might have some leaky, crookedy spots, you're absolutely divine. You have purpose. This life has absolute purpose in you. And so that's how do you know what's up there if you don't take the first step? Right? How do you know your grace and your glory if you don't go looking for it? If you don't hunt it out and seek it? Every step in this day is the glory and the grace of an infinite intelligence, a divine and holy thing. It has created you in its reflection, emanation, and poured itself into you. And you get to deliver that into this life. So evolution is the result of the development of ideas in mind. What we are is the result of the evolution of our consciousness. And our consciousness is the result of the seed ideas sown in our mind. Therefore, spiritual evolution is the unfolding of the Spirit of God into expression. It is the development achieved by individuals working under spiritual law. Divine order is the first law of the universe, and you are perfect. So it is.
So it is.